They sacrifice themselves.
Okay, today, here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna hand out your sheets you had yesterday. The reason why, you're gonna need it. Okay, you're gonna need the sheets from yesterday so you can actually do the new stuff today.
What if I just remember, you know?
I know there's one thing to ask. Yeah. Oh, no.
Now I'm gonna forget. I'm gonna
Could have
handled Friday.
Because the stuff we do in class today, you won't be able to find in textbooks, that's why I don't recommend taking
Dude, just dream about books.
Yeah.
It'll be fun.
I miss
I don't wanna dream
I
about
wouldn't recommend like taking your test right now because the notes I'm about to do are not in your textbook. And you could not figure them out on your own.
I would not do that.
So
I'm gonna put it on right so I can go to bed.
Oh, I didn't.
Straight up.
Oh, you need a
I'm
protractor?
losing sleep, boys.
Great.
I really made my breakfast at home.
What? No, I'm trying. I can find
My dad
sleep.
put it in the shower. There's nothing wrong when you put the frosting on them when I'm still at home.
I should've-
Oh, yeah?
Mine is going for everything. So I had to put them against each other. And then put them in a separate tray. And then you were super messy. And I was like,
Extra point for
Did I give that to the wrong person there? Sorry.
Do I copy? Is this video?
Now, hey, if I did not hand you a piece of paper, either means number one, you were gone yesterday, or number two, you kept it. So, you need a piece of paper, a white piece of paper. Does everyone have one?
Yep.
Perfect. All right, next thing you need the tools. We have compass, straight edges, all that good stuff.
Well, I don't have any of that stuff, so.
Dad, I'm not too.
And these are in a little pod.
Hey, is this video online
It will be today, yes.
from yesterday?
Yeah, it's uploading right now.
Okay,
I got them.
I'm really
sounds
scared.
good.
It is uploading, I promise you.
It's just that I used to go to have an audition.
You got the good one, boys.
Or you like,
You're like, oh, this is a broken bag, it must be the bad one. No.
I'll take one to Jake
Got the
Will
good one.
tomorrow.
you should get a
Young boy, got the
Good morning.
And those were in the
I got
pod.
Every time you say it.
And then you can just
What is that?
The job. I take like 5
Laptop might be fine.
Yeah, you know what?
Okay.
minutes.
All right. Hey, does everyone have their piece of paper out? Put your name on the top of the second piece of paper today. Okay, and I want you to number this piece of paper number 2 underneath your name. We're gonna staple these eventually all together. Now, yesterday, the notes we took in class, you received 10 points for doing those yesterday. So if you didn't, I'll have the video online. You're gonna have to kind of replicate what we do. Today, we have a couple different things we're gonna do today. Now, we're gonna start reviewing the semester test tomorrow. Keep that in mind. I'll hand out the practice guides probably tomorrow just because that's when we'll start reviewing. Otherwise, people will lose them already. Book checks. I moved the book check-in date. I had it Friday. I moved it to Monday. The reason being I will not be here Friday.
Where you going?
So I got a funeral. So, book check-in date is Monday. So keep that in mind. I want your books then. Don't take the covers off until then, so keep the covers on, you can protect it. But all late work is still due this Friday, so if you have any missing assignments in the grade book, LIs, zeros, M's, whatever they call them, in that grade book, you need to get those in by this Friday, and then I'll get them in over the weekend. I will not take any late work after Friday. Okay, retakes for test, if you're gonna retake my last test. That is due by this week. Maths test, if you have not finished, it's due by the end of the week. Okay, and I will kind of remind people, I think the people will still always be math tests in here, if you haven't already. Fearing and Jade, you guys still owe me maths tests if you haven't finished it yet.
I already did it.
Good. Okay, I didn't receive an email, so I didn't know what your score was, so.
I did mine on the day you finished.
243.
Oh, you just did it,
Actually,
okay,
the
that
better
day.
is Mitch.
I did mine
Who won't tell me his score?
Can you get my light out?
on. No, I did mine
Or
on
a
Thursday.
man. I'll literally tell Randy.
Cause I didn't have the score. I didn't know if you were
Say my
finished.
score
I
out
did
loud.
mine Thursday.
I
I
did.
asked if I needed to come show you.
I didn't know.
I'm Jamie.
Well, I know he's got, you got like a 2 year review, I'm not gonna say it out loud. You lied. You showed me a piece of paper. What you said was,
Okay,
I saw you.
alright, let's, take out your protractor, make sure you got your straight edge out. If you don't have lead, let me know.
Would you get like a,
It basically just takes a little,
but you got 160.
little tool here to help you, if the lead isn't showing up for you.
You ever got a below
Is this
200
mine?
under there too?
What?
Something like that. Back in the old,
No.
when we were small.
It is.
I averaged like 190
Because look, they all have.
back in elementary school.
Looking over it.
Now I'm getting like 230, so.
Alright.
It's right there.
Bringing my grades up.
Alright.
Stop.
Okay, we good?
183.
You don't get mine.
183.
Okay, everyone's got it? Everyone's got lead? All that good stuff?
Probably.
No one got one with 2 pieces of lead, did they? No one got 2 pieces of lead in theirs? Okay, I was had one of those yesterday, it had 2 pieces.
That's silly.
Alright, okay. Alright, here we go. The goal today. Now yesterday we did constructions 1 through 3. Okay, I want to do a quick recap of what we did on those. I'm not going to go through the full steps. I don't even expect you to write these down. I should expect you to be following on your paper that we had yesterday to do a quick review of these 3. Now, if you don't remember what we did, number 1 was to copy a segment. Number 2, we copied an angle. Copied an angle. And number 3, we did a perpendicular line. That's the one we're really going to focus on today. We have 2 more that we're going to do with the perpendicular line idea. There's 2 other ones. We're going to look at those today. But we have a major thing that I want to talk about. I want to do, our little project is I want to draw a perfect square. That is your goal today. That is the thing you should be able to do at the very end of class today. You have to be able to draw a perfect square on your paper using the tools in front of you. Okay, without cheating it and trying to use a ruler or try to fold paper in such a way that you can draw it. I'm talking about using your protractor and doing all the skills we've learned to actually draw the perfect square, and then we can find the area. Okay, that's not an easy task. It actually takes quite a few markings to actually do it correctly. Okay, so we'll kind of go through this. Again, it takes all 3 of these. Now, after we're done with these, after we get to that perfect square, then what we're going to do is we're going to do a couple new constructions. We're going to go constructions 4 through 6 today. Okay, these are new. Okay, 2 of them are based on perpendiculars, just a different way to look at it. And the other one is based on a parallel line. Okay, so these 2 are my main ones. Okay? Questions, comments, what we're doing today? Perfect. All right. First step, when we copied segments yesterday, so if you're following along in your first sheet, you had to have a line drawn in the first place. Okay, then what you did is you went somewhere on your paper, used your straight edge, drew a new line that was clearly longer than the first one. You measured this with your compass, you came over here and you made your little mark down the road for how long it was, and then we scribbled up the rest of it, and these were the same size. Now, why that's important? Squares have all the same walls. So at some point, you're going to have to do that 3 times over. Because you have the first one drawn, the first wall, and you're going to have to copy the other 3 attached to it so it makes a perfect square. Does everyone feel comfortable with construction number 1, how you copy walls using your construction? Okay, all right, number 2. We had to copy angles. So, whatever angle you had. Okay, let's say this is my angle. Now today, obviously for a square, what type of angles do we have? Right. We're going to have to copy a right angle 3 different times, actually 4 different times, because we'll have to set it up for the first time. Okay, but we'll have to get the angle set up, and then we'll have to copy it to the locations. Okay, how to copy an angle? First step, you draw a line somewhere else on your paper, like that, like a ray. Then you take your compass, you put the little pikey end right here, and you draw an arc randomly. It didn't have to hit any specific point, but once you have that arc drawn with your compass, you go over to the new spot, you put your pike right here, the little pointy end, and you draw the same arc on that side. And you just have to make sure that on this first drawing that you hit the wall twice. Over here, you have to make sure you hit that wall once. That's kind of the guarantees you have to have. Then the last step that you have to do, or the last 2 steps I should say, you had to measure where this gap is. So what I do is I put like the pike down here, I put the pencil up here, and I like open up the compass so it fits perfectly, and I go over here and I make the same marking. So that way, and again, the pike is right here, the pencil's floating up here somewhere. That way, when you find this little X marks the spot, you can draw your final angle, and they should be perfect copies of each other. Okay, without freehand drawing it, like it should be exact. I should be able to put my compass on your paper and follow the exact markings you're making, without erasing anything. Now, obviously what we're doing today is we're copying 9-degree angles. Problem is, you don't have a 90-degree angle, so you're gonna have to make it in the corner first so you can copy it to a bunch of different locations. Okay, so that's what we're gonna do. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna copy a 90-degree angle, we're gonna put it like right here. So we can copy the segment so you can make your box, you can start it that way. Now to make the 90-degree angle in the first place, you had to go on like the corner of your paper, have a line segment drawn somewhere in the corner of your paper. You open up your compass past the halfway point. This is the halfway point roughly on that little stick. You open up the compass past the halfway point, you make the arc above and below. You switch it around, you go above and below, and wherever these X marks the spots, you draw the line that connects the two X's, and it makes a perfect right angle. Then now you can copy that angle to a new location. Now, here's the thing I didn't tell you yesterday. I know that I made those big looping arcs. You don't need to make the arcs. You just have to make sure that you know where they intersected up above and below. So you didn't have to make these big looping tails because you know that it's going to be above the middle. That's what we talked about yesterday, that it was going to be a perfect right angle above the center point. Now, why I don't want you to draw these big looping arcs? We have to copy this angle. You don't want to have a bunch of stuff in the way. So that's why you don't need to put these big looping things just cross at the very bottom above where you think that the middle is. And then the X's should mark the spot. Okay, alright, here's what we're going to do today. I want you for the next 10 minutes to attempt to draw a perfect square using the 3 constructions I've given you. A perfect square on your new piece of paper. So, you can set the length of the wall to be anything you want. So that's why you have that straight edge. But you have to follow the steps. I'm not giving you anything else. You have all the skills necessary. I want to see how accurate you are with copying angles, the 90-degree angles to the new spots, with copying the wall lengths to the new locations. As you guys are doing that, I'm going to put it up on the board. I'm going to do the exact same thing up here so you can watch me do it. And you guys can go. You have 10 minutes. In fact, I'm going to set a timer.
Well, you see. This.
Okay, I got a timer set, so it'll kind of go off after the 10 minutes. See how well and accurate you can go here.
Mr. Wood, I have a question.
Yeah.
So if I'm copying, like I'm doing number 1, if I'm copying this line,
Yeah.
where do I?
Well, you have to draw now the angle attached to it. So you're going to have to copy the 90-degree angle to make the box in the corner. Because then once you have the angle drawn, because that's the angle down there, that's the first construction, you can copy that angle to your new page. Then you can copy how long the wall needs to be. off the
So
90 degree.
basically, I just put a one through, or no, I do.
90, like copy the angle. That angle, copy it over to the new page. And put it right on the corner.
This. Oh, that doesn't good.
That doesn't cut.
And again, I'm going to be walking through it on the board, so if you want to watch, you can. But you have all the construction you needed to figure it out.
I better do it on these notes. Duh.
Okay, but how do I do this?
Oh, wait, you're supposed to do like that.
I looked up my
Okay, someone teach me. So, you draw a straight line. Then what?
Now you like this. There's my crinkly edge. Oh, it's my left. I know what I'm doing. Gotcha. I really dang it, I did it in the wrong spot. My finger moved. That next time.
Alright, so basically I'm going to start, so if you're just starting, this is basically the steps you're going to have to take. Because you already have your 90-degree angle on your other paper, and this is the box I'm about to start. So these are the steps that I need to follow here.
I can't move my compass. I need 2 compasses.
2 combi. That's so important.
She's gonna be messy, but it's okay. I guess this is how long my line was gonna be.
Give me that. This? It doesn't go straight. Restart.
Start game. I don't know.
It's hard to know what order to go. Sure, how?
Are they supposed to connect?
Kenzie, who are you talking to?
Yeah. So I did it wrong.
You have me right. This one. Clearly over halfway.
Oh, so it has to be on this end.
Now you have
Go under that.
We have to measure this and then make like an arm.
And you do it again.
The same one. Like this spot. You have to copy that.
So I got my.
Like the wall.
I don't know, man.
Am I? Know how to do this or did you want this? Oh, did he
Well,
do
we did that yesterday. I did mine.
There, that makes a little more sense.
The only problem is I really gotta
Then what?
It's hard to mark where it
Put this and then this now equal perfect. Or how do you know?
If it looks like me.
Let's just protract. How you can do that.
What are you talking about?
What happens if you can't do it? Do we get points off?
Wait, dude, I got an idea.
Do I have to like turn my paper?
Just kidding. That makes a circle.
So like make an arc and then make the same arc on a new
Huh?
spot. Like when you know the length of your wall.
You got me going.
Run the last one.
What? Are you guys Did you measure the
What are you?
Stop! I had it! Don't make fun of me. No, do you have your wall length for this part? Is this what you're making
Not
today?
too bad.
Yeah.
Pretty good for running on a mark board where
Yeah,
you don't
this
have
wall
Oh,
length.
shoot.
half tile heel slide
Is it
over.
mine? Do that. Just organize up to there.
That was my stupid circle.
Transfer.
Again, what you're seeing up here is kind of a mock version of what you're gonna have to do, so.
Oh.
Again, you have to copy your 90-degree over here, so you just draw the arc, measure how big that arc is, where it touches, go over here, mark that distance. Then I can draw the line, which I drew really too long. So then I measured this with my compass to figure out how long that needs to be. So I made my mark, you erase the excess, or just scribble it out. Then copy the 90-degree angle again. Went over, and then I measured that, how long that stick needed to
I've never been
be.
so lost.
Did I do it?
That's actually pretty
Here's a
good.
straight line.
I,
I'm pretty sure
this is how I always check. But
Pretty sure I did it.
I definitely did it.
Fingers, you need help?
Starting over.
I did it.
The more I think about it, the more I forget
yeah,
it.
it's pretty insanely close.
That's what you told us to do.
But you're really bad at doing straight edges.
Listen to yourself.
I didn't do it that way, but I did it, I'm pretty sure.
So this is where you have to
Square.
start. This is where you not really much of a very line shaping. It's the same.
That's pretty close.
Because right now I'm transferring.
We're not knowing how to do it
Do you want
at
to try this again?
I made that.
Now, if that was my test, I definitely kind
Pulls
of
that
wrong.
ruler.
Okay, but listen how I did it.
Did you copy the angle?
Probably pull it out.
No, I did this.
I did.
And then I
No, I
I
just
went
need
like
compass
this.
because the compass is.
Oh, no, I'm done.
Oh, I'm a hand.
Oh!
And then measure like this.
Well, you can line it.
Same on this side.
I don't understand.
Line it up.
Same on this side.
Right.
Yeah, but the problem is, there's where you're wrong. You weren't guaranteeing that you're going straight up and down. And that's what you're seeing here, like this box is gonna work out.
How
It's
do you
not straight.
guarantee?
You have to copy the 90-degree into the corners. So, because that's the third construction where you copy angles.
Oh, yeah.
I literally just did it twice on the board. That's not my
Yeah, I'm
fault.
not counting, that's like 45, 30. More than 15.
What are you doing?
It's over?
I think it's Jaden, that's not right. No, it's not.
Yeah.
That's not gonna make a square.
Way off.
I mean, looking at, you know.
Daddy,
it's
can
better.
I get you to tell me something? Yes, I ripped mine on accident.
I was trying to do it on purpose.
Made the
Like, as long as it's close, he doesn't try to draw that.
And
Well, I
then
was just-
I made this all the way
Now,
around the writing. And then I like
Yes.
Even though this is right angle,
and then I did it a little bit and I went
Alright,
copy
get
and
free
right
handed,
angle.
you have to do all the correct steps.
Actually,
Yeah.
I don't
I
know.
don't get what I did.
just draw it again.
You'll figure it out.
Square. Remember? Don't you remember, Haley? Here, you showed it.
Then, did you copy the 90-degree angle?
I don't know how to do it.
I'm a genius. Don't like
I
this,
don't know what
come to
you
me, I'll
did.
help you out.
Or is this right?
I have no idea what it is.
Tom wants I'm gonna start making another one and then history. Oh, I can make me 4 out of this scrap. I'll make 2. 'cause
I got it.
It's a little bit off.
Look.
It's close, still not right, because you're off in the corner, so your angle's in the corner.
Yes, I hate that.
I don't know
It
how
was
you
close.
did that.
Alright, hey, okay, alright. Give me enough time to kind of try to guesstimate on how to do it. Trick is, you have to start with one line, so I start with AB first. A lot of people are just trying to like take their compass and like go randomly and kind of make marks any which way. The problem is, what you have to make sure of, is that on the first line, you have to copy that 90-degree angle which you had in your other paper to here. That's the first step. So what I did is I went over here to the 90-degree angle that was on the paper we did yesterday, that was the one with the big fish. I drew an arc on that from the center, and I used my compass, I came over here and I drew the same arc. The reason why is I'm going to copy that 90-degree angle to this corner. Now this line wasn't there, right? It was kind of floating, so I just drew a random arc. Then what I do is I go over here, once I have both arcs drawn, I measure how big this arc is. So I put my little pipe here, pencil up here. And I take that, because that's where you had to resize it, and I come over here and I made my mark. That way, once I have that mark, I know where to draw this line through. Because that X marks the spot on that angle. So I drew a line really, really long. It went up to here. And to make it square, squares have to have all 4 walls the same. So once I had that line drawn, all I had to do was measure AB, and then draw a big looping arc so it hit, and you can actually see my mark where I made it. So then I can erase all this excess piece which was there. I had the luxury, I can just wipe it off. And then what I do, again, is once I had that line drawn, so I called it D, now this is like a perfect square, almost, like it's an L shape, just a big 90-degree angle. I'm allowed to copy that angle up here again. So what I did is I just put my compass down here and measured the same arc, drew the same arc, and I measured how long this was. And I made my mark, and I drew a line, and the same thing again before. I measured AB, went up here, made my mark, and when I drew the line, that spot right there, I knew it was at a perfect 90-degree angle, because that's the way I had it. All I had to do was draw the line straight down to B. So really, you only have to do 2 90-degree angles if you think about it. Some people would try to copy it again to guarantee it, but that's the trick, okay?
So if it was on the test, could we like do that? Could we just draw one to the side and then transfer?
That's what I did. So just to guarantee that it looks right, I saw some pretty clever ways of doing it. I saw some people where they started with the 90, and a lot of people were doing this. They started with that whole 90-degree angle thing, and then they tried to make a box off of it. Clever. You were almost there. You already had one right angle. All you really had to do was copy this angle to here, and you would have saved a bunch of time. You would have saved time of what I was doing, where I was trying to make them all separate. So, and you could copy that 90-degree angle here, and all you have to do is copy these wall lengths. The problem was, when people do this, they don't copy the exact wall length. That's where you get lost. You have to make sure it's square. So,
Okay, well, I need a.
pretty clever, but again, this is throwing you in the deep end. That's not an easy construction for no instructions other than me doing on the board for 2 seconds. Okay? Alright, what I'd like you to do, we're gonna move on to the new construction. So I'd like you to go to a different spot on your paper. We're gonna come back to the square later. We're gonna see a different way to do it, maybe a little bit easier now that we have some different tools in mind. Because right now, this is tough. Putting everything together, first day, not having any practice with it. You've tried it, you've attempted, some of you got really close, but now we're gonna learn a couple more tools and maybe it'll make it a little bit easier for you. So you have some different sets that you can do here to make that perfect square.
Well,
Alright, so here we go. Let's go to a new construction here. Go. So construction number 4 today. So find a new spot on your paper.
Arrows.
Okay. So construction number 4. Alright, what we're going to be drawing today is drawing a perpendicular line at a very specific point. At a specific point. So what I mean by that is like an architect, when they're looking at a blueprint, and they have, some walls in their drawing, whatever it is. They want to put a certain perpendicular wall, a wall that's perfectly 90 degrees at a certain spot anywhere they want. Maybe they want to put the perpendicular right here, as opposed to in the dead center. Because maybe they want to put a closet right there in their room. Well, and take out a big chunk of it. That's fine. You can pick the point you want to put your perpendicular at. And that's what we're going to do here in a second. Does that make sense what we're going to do? Okay, so here's how it works. So number 1, step 1, you need to draw a line somewhere on your paper right now. Give some space, you'll need space around it, beside it, above it, below it. So don't put it at the bottom of your paper. Okay, here it is. Let's call this one A and B. Okay, again, you need room above, below, and on both sides of it. So don't put it too close to a corner. Yes. All right, now this is gonna be like one of the walls in your blueprint, right? You're trying to be an architect, so you're gonna try to put a closet in a very specific spot. So what I'd like you to do on your wall, pick any point on the wall that you want, and we're gonna put a perpendicular wall right there, and I'm gonna show you the steps for how to do it. So for me, I'm gonna pick mine right here. This is where my closet's gonna be. So I'm gonna call this point P. That's the point that I'm picking. You get to pick that spot. I want to put a perfect 90-degree angle right there, a 90-degree wall.
Let me just do it.
I know how to do this already.
So I'll let everyone kind of pick their spot. Everyone get it picked? Again, you don't have to pick mine, you can pick any spot you want. In fact, you can pick A and B for all I care. You can put it anywhere on that wall. Now this is definitely more helpful because like on the square problem, you can put the 90-degree right on A and put it right there. So now you're making the perfect wall. That's kind of nice, because it allows you to go anywhere you want. Are we good so far? Everyone's got their wall drawn with their point on it? Wait for everyone to get that drawn. I'm going to show you the steps for how to do this here, but I want to make sure everyone's got the initial drawing. Jay, let me know when you're good. Okay. Anyone else drawing yet? Carly, you good? Or are you just messing around?
I'm good.
Anthony, you good? Okay. Alright, here's what I'd like you to do. Take your straight edge, and I know this is going to seem a little goofy. Now, if you put your point P really close to like one of these corners, one of these walls, you need to extend the wall out a little bit further. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just draw a very, very faded line. Now, I can use a different color, but you guys just take your straight edge, put it down on the paper, and you're going to extend this wall further straight out. Now, sometimes, like in other classes, I've used dash lines for this. I've just made that a dash line. It doesn't matter. Just make it a line. Just extend the wall further. This is just a safety precaution. We don't technically need this, it just helps. This is just for safety purposes in case we go off the picture a little bit.
Just in case.
Alright. Now, take your compass. At this point, you can open up the compass to any size you want. Don't go like crazy big, don't go crazy small. Just go middle ground. I'm gonna go here. This looks pretty. Okay. So now, I'd like you to put the little pike, little pointy end, right on the point that you pick where you want to put your wall. So I'm gonna go put mine right on point P. Okay. Okay, everyone's got the little pikey end right on point P. Alright. What you're gonna do is you're gonna make little marks on each side of point P. So I'm gonna make a mark over here, and I'm gonna flip it around and make a mark over here. Again, you don't have to make the full semicircle. Again, how I did that, when I put the point on point P, I made a mark over here, made a mark over there. It doesn't matter where you put these marks, but they have to be on each side of point P. One on the right, one on the left. And again, make that little mark so you can clearly see them. Now, once you get those done, we can label those if you want. It really doesn't matter. Those are the points I'm going to use from now on. So I'm going to label them just so we kind of know. I'm going to call this point right here, I'm going to call this M, and I'm going to call this point right here N. Those are going to be the new points of interest for me that I'm going to use. Okay, watch. So again, how we did this so far, I opened up the compass random, made a point on the right side of P, on the left side of P. Now, this construction is really going to mimic what we did on construction number 3 yesterday. So on construction number 3, we're going to open up the compass past the halfway point. What I mean by halfway point, I'm going to get rid of point A here just for a second. P is the perfect center between M and N. It is the perfect middle. We made it that way, right? Because we went on each side of point P. So this is the perfect middle. What you want to do is put the little pikey end on M and open up the compass so it's past point P. So we're past the halfway point between M to N. So you're opening up the compass. So we're changing the compass now, right? So I'm past point P. What you're going to do is you're going to make a mark above point P and below point P from point M. Like that. Now if you want to make the whole Jesus fish looking thing, you can do that. But again, I'm putting the pike on M and I open up the compass past point P because P is this perfect center. And once you have that, then switch the compass around without changing the size of it, go to point N and do the same thing. You're going to make the arc above and below using point N. So again, if you want to make the whole Jesus fish looking thing, you can do that. Is everyone good? Anyone need help? Yeah. It happens. Some of the lead, if it gets too short, it kind of slides there.
Or I could just put the thing on. I draw it. Figured out.
You didn't know you
Yeah,
Sit there.
do it.
Wait,
Wait, I didn't do it either.
Do you have to?
No.
I don't know. I was
It's not.
yelling at Kinsey.
Just want to see some seagulls take down the extra.
There's a wall through your closet.
It's all making the color.
No.
Honestly,
How is this
you can only get 20.
How is it?
This is the time clock.
It's a line. I can fit my
Okay.
hanger in it.
All right.
Sure.
Okay. Hey, is everyone good with the two X's, the two arcs they made? Okay. All you have to do is draw a line that connects the two X's together.
Come on.
Draw a line that goes straight down through the two X's, and now what an architect just made is they made a perfect 90-degree wall, 90-degree angle, right at point P. Now, why that's useful? You know, because originally we had point A up there. Well, why you can use this, why this would be helpful in the construction we just did about the box, you can put a 90-degree angle anywhere you want, as long as you have a point of reference to start at. So if you wanted to start that right angle right here at point A, you could have. Because I just had to extend the wall, made the mark on each side of it, open up the compass past the halfway point, made the arc above and below, made the arc above and below, and draw a line, and now we have a 90-degree angle right at point A. So now you can start to cheat to make the square really, really fast.
So you could choose like that next next point of maybe we'll say today?
Yeah, so if you measure this wall, you mark the wall up here, and you know this is the same length, do the same thing. Extend the wall further, make the marks on each side of it, X, X, draw the line, now you're gonna draw the box, and it's super fast. Alright, but again, these are just different tools. If you're going into, you know, architecture, you're going into some scale drawings, if you're drafting. Okay, questions, comments? Alright, we're not gonna have time for the next two, we'll finish these tomorrow. I didn't know timing wise what it would take. I'd like you to put your tools and the little straight edge back in the little bag today. We'll finish the next two tomorrow, because we only have a couple more, so we'll do a couple more Thursday and Friday. Even though I'm not here, I'll probably have the video of me doing one of the constructions, which will be kind of, I'll try to pick the easy one that day, so it doesn't take a lot of effort. But remember, I'm not here Friday, but all late work is due if you have a bunch of LIs and MIs in the grade book. After Friday, they stay zeros forever. You can't fix them. So, it's my cutoff day for homework. Practice guys, you're gonna get them tomorrow in class. We'll start reviewing it the second half of class tomorrow. Yep, now, papers. On your papers, make sure your name is on both, and one of them has a 2 under your name.
Mr. Ward,
Yes.
the paper I drew my square on the back.
Broken.
That's fine, just attach them.
So I got a new one.
Oh,
So I throw this in.
Yo, Mr.
No, you can just put it in there. Put it in the fold. I'll take them. Okay, stapler should be coming around. I'd like you to staple them together, because you're gonna get points for today and yesterday's.
Keep your blue stuff in back up.
What's wrong?
It broke.
No, I should have always stuck, I wanted to be in a hospital, but I don't know what
Did you get Packer Blues the other time?
You watched
What?
Okay,
I have watched some of it.
stapler's coming around. I do want these papers. Do not leave with them. I
Did you have
want
to do your presentation yesterday?
No, I'm gonna hear you.
What's she say?
I don't think it's
Oh, I'll take it.
Yeah, you better do that.
I have
Ooh, I got a deadly.
I have bio right now though, so.
That's
That's cute.
Yes,
Hit me with it, girl.
Hit me with your fat stapler.
Okay, Taylor, I'll have your grades and stuff for you tomorrow. So I'll have this graded, so you can kind of see what your overall final grade is for me and
When is
stuff.
the semester test for?
It's gonna be an
the
F.
You got an
geometry?
88 in the second quarter?
Yeah, we
I doubt it.
Board?
What's the semester test for? Was 98.
Semester test for you guys is a week from today.
You're proud of me?
So we start it next Tuesday, we finish it next Wednesday.
Yeah, I really need to fix the tongue on this thing.
Okay, hey, I'm gonna walk around, I want my piece of paper, please.
Dude.
The stapler should be going around, make sure your name's on it, all that good stuff.
What the heck?
God's plan.
Okay, Maureen, do you have the stapler back there? Okay, not yet. Okay.
Wait, did you see that?
I need it.
Oh, I know, this is model.
Summer read, I practice that on like Netflix, but I want to actually have hobbies.
Yeah, you're getting it tomorrow.
I need like something to hold me accountable.
It was this.
You're bad. Like,
Take your,
He's gonna be angry.
Guys,
I'm not trying to open
I
either.
got
He hates
some.
it.
definitely. I'll buy you some stuff. And just go.
sorry, Frank.
And I see.